tell myself this is my mantra, and I have it written down here in my computer. I bring determination, enthusiasm, and positivity to every room that I go to.
I had an opportunity to kind of look through your pages, whatever, because you went on a wellness and fitness journey as well. Kind of talk about that.
Yes, I would say
What,
that my journey is one of reinvention and constant evolution. And
what's going on, guys? I'm back. Major here, the host of the Majoration podcast, where we talk about all things inspirational, aspirational, and majorational. Today, I have another amazing guest. Had opportunity to connect with her over a week or so ago. I was at a mastermind event, and then I was at Elevator Nights for an amazing women's panel of entrepreneurs and rock stars. And this person is, I consider, a rock star as well. Alejandra, welcome to the Majoration podcast.
thank you. So excited to be here. It's an honor.
One thing that I noticed early on when it comes to the characteristics of people that are successful, very observant, is people that are outgoing, people that are unafraid to connect with people. And that's ultimately how me and you met. That's normally my personality engaging with others, but you actually turned the tables, actually came up to us, which I thought was very inviting. And I'm always aware of those characteristics. Is that something you've always have done, or did you have to build up that type of confidence to operate in those types of environments, meeting people?
A little bit of both. I would say that I'm naturally an introvert. So I enjoy talking to people and meeting people, but then I need my time to recharge. So when I'm going to these events, I'm very intentional. Like I want to meet as many people as possible. And I do believe that energy tells a lot about the other person. And I just let myself guide, okay, who do I feel should be the right person to introduce myself to? I just look around the room, and both of you were just really inviting, standing there. And I was like, okay, let's just introduce myself and see where this goes. And also like never having an expectation, just I tell myself this is my mantra, and I have it written down here in my computer. I bring determination, enthusiasm, and positivity to every room that I go to. So that's my mantra, just trying to see who I can connect with and just bring a little bit of joy into their lives. That's at least what I tell myself that I like to do.
I love that. So, in being at that type of event, is it safe to say that you are continuously looking to connect and also learn, even as being an authority yourself? I know that you said that you were public speaking, and so in doing so, that puts you at a certain place of understanding that you inspire other people. But as the person who inspires other people, we still look for other outlets to get inspired as well. Is that kind of safe to say in regards to your presence there?
Yes, and also it's being in the rooms with like-minded people. I believe that's so important. And just being there, hearing from others and what they're up to. And I enjoy, the panels that we were at these kinds of events, and just the opportunities to meet new people that you wouldn't have another opportunity to meet just randomly outside. So I feel that this is the best way to force myself to go to as many events as I can, where I know I will meet people that, have the same goals or aspirations on just becoming a better person and self-development and improvement.
So a lot of times when I'm having conversations with people, I really want the audience to get to know the guest on the show. So if you can take like at least a minute into it, just kind of walk us through your journey in regards to your evolution. You went on a wellness and fitness journey as well. Kind of talk about that and what that meant to you, and like what was that defining moment that you said, you know what, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to do, and just talk about the victory aspect of it to be see that transformation actually happen and look back on it and share that journey with others.
Yes, I would say that my journey is one of reinvention and constant evolution. And if you asked the Alejandra from 10 years ago, I would have never imagined I would be here today. So basically, I just, 10 years ago, I'm originally from Venezuela. So I packed my entire life into 2 suitcases 10 years ago and left my home country during a difficult time. And I always had big dreams, but I carry with me a burden of self-doubt. English is not my first language, so I tended to doubt myself. Like, can I really be a good speaker when I go to the US? Will people take me seriously? So I always had that self-doubt. And fitness was actually a big turning point for me, because I was the kind of person who never worked. Just to give you a picture of how fit I was, I always tell a story when I went to a trip with Vermont with my husband, and I was just walking down this mountain, and I would say, this is just the steepest mountain ever. This is so hard. And then I show the picture, but it turned out to be a flat mountain. So I just like was a kind of person who always told myself and had this identity of not being a fit person. Exercise is not for me. And then after being an immigrant in this country and just having all this self-doubt and being away from my family, I just use food for comfort. And I gained over 40 pounds in the first year that I moved here because I did not know how to manage my emotions, and I would just turn into food to feel better and get that dopamine. So all those things together just made me gain a lot of weight. And there was a turning point where I said, I do not recognize myself. I just do not feel good about myself. I don't have energy. I have to do something. And that's when I moved to LA. I used to live in Boston about 5 years ago. And I just had a point in time where I was looking for a new job and I knew I would have at least a couple of months to focus on this. And I said, okay, it's now or never. I always say that I do not have time to exercise. So now I have the time. So what is my excuse? And long story short, I got a coach and I started working out twice a week. And I realized that it was not rocket science. It was mostly a matter of showing up and trying. So over time, I embraced this identity of being an athlete and that I enjoyed working out. And I had this alter ego of myself where I would tell myself, you are a fit person, and embrace the habits of the person that I wanted to become. And I turned into having fitness as part of my identity. And this just showed me if I could do this thing that I never thought was possible, that it was not part of my identity, then what else is possible? It means that I can actually achieve anything that I set my mind to. And it was a big confidence boost for me. And that was my turning point for me, and like going into personal development. And that was right before the pandemic, right before COVID started. So I also started doing meditation and just came into this journey of getting to know myself, because I always was looking for prestige. Having an engineering background, like I came here, like I want to work for MIT and I want to have a very prestigious work in engineering, but then realized over time that I just wanted to matter and for people to applaud me versus looking for validation inside myself. And that was my breakthrough moment and what got me started. And I just feel the passion that I want to spread my message and help other people realize that they can achieve anything that they set their minds to, that the identity is something that you can build for yourself, and it's a matter of taking the first step.
Oh, that's amazing. And you just hit it right on the head. Taking that first step is always so important, but also in taking that first step and actually going on that journey as well. You have a lot of people who do that. And it's similar to like the New Year's resolution, right? Everyone has these big hopes and aspirations, and they've set these goals for themselves, but then they kind of fall off. And I give you a perfect example. And this is why I admire what you did. If you take a lot of people who go to these events like the elevator nights where we met at and we attended, there's a lot of enthusiasm, the entertainment aspect of it, the great stories, the other people that are successful, the energy, the alignment. But what happens a lot of times, a good percentage of those individuals, after they leave, it's up here and then it starts to fall off when it's just them by themselves. So the fact that you were able to cultivate those habits and kind of make it a part of your identity speaks volumes about not only your character, but it just adds such context to your story that I think so many people can look to for inspiration on their journey. So I appreciate you for sticking to it and, and just really just saying, hey, if I have an issue with something, if I'm not comfortable with something, I'm going to do something about it. And to me, that's what you represent. So salute to you for that.
Thank you.
One of the other questions, I want to talk about confidence because in your field, when it comes to mindset, it can be elusive in regards to confidence. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. What is your take on sustaining confidence as you are on that journey after your goals or the things that you're trying to accomplish? Because sometimes it doesn't happen as fast. Right. So what are some of the things that you do to unpack not only for yourself but for others when they're having issues with confidence?
So there's two parts of this question. So the first thing that I realized in my whole journey is that a lot of people think that you need to be confident to take action, but it's the other way around. When you take action, you start building confidence, even if it's really small. So myself, after realizing that, I started to see, okay, what can I do to increase my confidence at a time, I don't know, before a big presentation or just like to have a little boost. So I have what I call my own arsenal, my confidence boosting arsenal. And I just over time have figured out what are the tools that work for me. So for instance, listening to a really power playlist before an event, getting into the right energy is something that I do. Also, a very powerful tool that I have is the alter ego. I call my alter ego Ale Power, and it also started at the gym. Like a lot of these gyms have this screen with the heart rate monitor on it. So I had to create a screen name for me, and I came up with Ale Power. So I just tell myself, who is Ale Power when you're in the gym? I'm strong, I'm confident, and I look at myself in the mirror and get into that mindset of being that person. And then I took that ally power that I created in the gym to other aspects of my life. But that's what I try to do before an event, and also reminding myself that I've already accomplished hard things. So that is one thing that I always recommend. Look at past accomplishments as evidence that you can do it again. A lot of people carry their own, screenshots in their phone of compliments, or if you're in social media, or if you've really helped somebody, just going into those comments or list of accomplishments to remind yourself, hey, I did this hard thing, I can do another hard thing. And forcing yourself to take action and be uncomfortable and get comfortable being uncomfortable.
The way that you explain that, I think a lot of people can take a lot of stock out of that, because a lot of people like to exist in that comfortable space, and you really have to get comfortable being uncomfortable in order to make that breakthrough. I was speaking to a person earlier, they were talking about metaphorically the gym. When you go to the gym, if you're lifting weights, the next day you're probably sore. And it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm sore, so I should never do this again. That means that it's actually working because it's breaking those muscles up so you can actually expand and grow the muscle. So that's always something that I always think about in the back of my mind when I'm talking to people, just in random conversations, or if I'm speaking as well. Giving people different perspectives. With you, as someone that's doing coaching, that's kind of speaking positive vibes into people, although you had your journey, a lot of times people just kind of self-embrace their own journey. Okay, I made it. I'm to this particular look that I want, the feeling that I want. Now let me just go crush it at living life. But you chose it. You chose to go and crush it in regards to being of service to others. What was that moment of transitional thought that made you want to go and help others? From a coaching mindset, wellness perspective.
In my journey, when I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, the first business that I did was a healthy cookie business. And when I started it, it was because I was pregnant with my child. I have a 6-year-old boy. And when I was breastfeeding, I was having a really difficult time. I had the pressure to be the perfect mom. And long story short, I wanted to look for solutions that would help me in my breastfeeding journey. And there was something called lactation snacks in the market, but they were not as healthy, high in sugar. So as an entrepreneur, I saw a gap in the market and I said, okay, I want to do this because I want to be an entrepreneur. So I was trying to find like a business opportunity. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because in the end, I wanted to help other moms have more time, feel better about themselves, and just have, it's really hard for moms to balance career and family so that they would have a little bit more time to do other things. And as I started to develop this business, I realized that the real reason why I did it is because I wanted to help other people, in this case, mothers. And then I realized that the reason why I wanted to initially become an entrepreneur is because it sounded fancy. Like I wanted to go on Shark Tank and, have all the accolades of being a business owner and raising a lot of money to get this going. Then I realized that, well, two things. First, that I wanted to help other people, and that I just realized, looking back, like all the transformations and all the achievements and all the limiting beliefs that I crushed, that I just felt this innate a calling to share my story and help other people. And I also noticed that a lot of people would come to me for advice, like, hey, how did you manage to do this? How are you so confident now? And, over time, I don't know, maybe in about a lapse of 2 to 3 years, I started to realize, okay, maybe my real calling is to help other people.
So at this point right now, from everything you've done and the things that you're doing, are there any standout moments of any kind of testimonials that you could share in regards to how people look at you? Like, and I say this for context wise, um, a buddy of mine was telling me about a speech he gave 6 years ago, and there was this young kid that was there during that particular time. He gave a very powerful speech. 6 years passed. He's in the airport. That young kid actually came up to him in the airport and said, "Because of your speech, it actually motivated me to go to college. Now I'm on a full scholarship. I'm about to graduate, about to go work in, the banking industry, and this was a kid who had turned his entire life around, and he contributed that one speech that was so powerful that just changed the whole trajectory of his life. Now, maybe not at that magnitude, but have you had some of those testimonials, and how did that make you feel during those moments?
Yes, I mean, my biggest testimonials is somebody that I used to go to college with, that she ended up moving close to me here in California. And she had like a really difficult corporate job where she didn't have that much time and she became a mom, so she wouldn't prioritize herself. And she saw in me, being a mom and somebody who didn't seem to have that much time, prioritize myself and my health. And she just started to get from that example and started to realize, okay, Alejandra, like she was really overweight. She looked just like me and she was able to do this transformation, and she started asking me questions, and I started to share my journey. So she told me that I completely changed her life and her family's life, and that she will be forever grateful that I just gave her longevity and joy and things to look forward to. And now she's starting to question, okay, maybe this corporate job is not for me, and starting to get into her own purpose journey. But that's like the biggest testimonial that's close to my heart, because I feel that I changed a whole family's life, because now her husband is also working out with her. Her brother came to visit for a couple of months and he was also going to the gym. So I feel that I planted this seed in this family, and they're also going to, plant their own seeds on other people. So I feel that that's what gives me the most satisfaction. Again, seeing joy in other people, because it sounds really corny, but I just want a happier world, because I want just to go outside, smile to other people. Like there's so much anxiety and stress in the world. And a lot of times people who do not know how to handle these emotions might snap at you when you're on the street or not say hello. And again, I just want to envision a world where, people are kind and they're just not, oh, because you're nice to me, what do you want from me? Just like not expecting somebody to be kind just because they want to be kind. And just like if you show that to other people that it's possible, then they'll start, sharing and changing their attitude themselves.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely amazing, and it's great to hear that. And you're probably inspiring other people that you probably haven't even met yet, through your content, videos, and things of that nature, or just from word of mouth. And as a byproduct of them planting that seed, they may be, inspiring someone else. And I want to bring that to another point. If with what you do as a speaker, as a coach, I don't know if you know names, but what would be 4 people on a panel that you would love to just rock out with and inspire an entire audience? Are there 4 people that you would like in the industry of coaching and mindset, motivation, and wellness?
Yeah, so I mean, my ideal people to talk with in the panel, I love Jen Gottlieb. She's been a big inspiration for me. I'm actually go do on her speaking school academy at the moment. Charlene Johnson is somebody that I've admired for the longest time. She's in business and in fitness as well. Kathy Heller is another person that I really admire. That's really abundant, and Jamie Kern Lima is somebody that really kept me going when I started my entrepreneurship journey, and I really look up to her. So she would be another dream person to meet and speak with. But overall, there's like a ton of people that I look forward to and that I get inspiration from every day. And that's another point, like to my arsenal of confidence. When you feel down, just trying to go to those accounts or those people that will say a word or two that will really motivate you, and getting to know yourself and your energy. And as soon as you notice that there's a dip in energy, intentionally do something to change it, either listening to music, going out on a walk, listening to somebody that you'll know will motivate you. And I have my arsenal of people as well that I gravitate to.
No, that's fantastic. Stepping a little outside of what we've been talking about, I want to ask some questions on the other side of things when it comes to just life and also balance as well. I heard you mention that you do have a son, 6 years old. So congratulations to that. I'm a boy dad also. Um, how has your family inspired you on this journey, and what does it make you feel like when they can kind of watch your transformation as well. So how does it make you feel?
They have been so supportive the whole time, and my kid always says that mommy is the best. And when I start my keynote speech, I dance the song "Level Up," because I talk about leveling up and getting to your desired self and reaching your goal. So every time that he listens to it, he's like, "That's mommy's song, Level Up." So he knows that I'm a coach and I help people. He doesn't know obviously the depths of what that means,
Yeah.
but he sees mom as somebody who brings joy and energy to other people. So I love it, and my husband has been very supportive the whole time because in this entrepreneurship journey, as I left my corporate job as well, so I had a big dip in income from what we were used to. So he's been supportive the whole time, and it really meant a lot. Like the other day we were talking and he said, Alejandra, like I want to say that I applaud how determined you are, because every time that you say that you are going to achieve something, even if it feels impossible, somehow you do it. Like you might go in circles and take like twice or three times as long as we would have anticipated, but somehow it happens. So, coming from him, that saying that he admires how determined I am, it gave me that boost and realization that I must be doing something right for him to say that. So, I'm happy and glad for my family, and I love them so much.
Yeah, and I just wanted to highlight that because as an entrepreneur for the last 20 years myself, and talking to so many other entrepreneurs, whether they're just starting out, whether they're super successful, whether they're just left their corporate situation and now diving into entrepreneurship, I was just kind of like to have that as a foundation of the conversation as well, because family is such an essential, crucial point. And I'm saying that to say that, your circle, the people that are closest to you, you want to make sure that they're always, what's the best way to say it? That they're, because sometimes family isn't supportive, right? Sometimes those are the issues. But for us, we always have to balance the family because we know that it can take two, three times longer sometimes. And if people don't have that same vision, and it's hard for people to see what you see for yourself, in yourself. But when you have those moments, when you have a supportive husband, who can applaud you at the end of the day. I always think that's like a very special thing. So I always like to applaud your husband for standing there with you the entire time and being patient, right? And I say the same thing to my wife all the time. I praise her all the time. Thank you so much for dealing with the ups and downs of figuring out this thing. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because I'm always saying I'm going to do this. But as you said, we actually end up doing it. Like, oh my gosh, you did do it. So I'm just really happy that you came up to me and you spoke. Whatever we can do for you on our end to support what you're doing, we would love to do that. And some of the things that we have planned for the different panels, we would love to have you on those panels as well and do some IG lives as well, just collaborate with some audiences as well. But whatever we can do to support, I really appreciate you for sharing just such an amazing story, an amazing message. Your energy is just off the charts. And I personally see you being amazingly successful. I can't tell you when it happened just like this for you, simply because you know how to intentionally engage in rooms that have people that has people in it that could literally change your life at the blink of this, right? I could have been the guy that already had the biggest podcast in the world, and just because of that, you could be on the biggest podcast in the world. But you are, it's just not yet. We're just getting started. But that's just how it works. And I just think you just need to keep going with the same energy. And I think everyone who works with you is going to be so much better after the fact because of what you offer to them as well. Any more projects that you're working on as well? Anything else coming up?
Yeah, so right now I'm focused on my speaking career. So trying to get into as many stages and panels as I can. I'm also working on having a life coaching program, because right now I've been working one-on-one with clients. So I'm soon about to release like a do-it-yourself program where you can follow along, like kind of like a course with actionable items and steps that people can join in a lower price point as well. But overall, just keep watching. I'm also trying to grow my audience, and I've been refining my message over the past year as well. So it's been a process of discovering myself, what are my strengths, what resonates the most with other people. But now I feel ready to jump in 100% and grow. And just to know, like anybody who's listening and is starting in their journey, like For a lot of people, it might seem like it's like an overnight success. And like one day you're small and one day you're big, but there's like so much work behind it and so many years of self discovery, of, trying and failing. I've failed so many times, and it's just like part of the process. And, I think Jamie Kern Lima always says that the people who succeed the most are the ones who fail the most because they're the ones who try the most. And that's something that I always tell myself. Like every mistake is progress. It's just a matter of trying again and again and again and again, even if it's 100 times. And eventually you'll get there. And it's a matter of, repeating to yourself, what are your talents, why you should keep going, what's your why, and surrounding yourself with the right people. So that's why I'm going to events as well. And I'm so glad that I jumped into you, and I wish you the best in this project. I'm sure that it will be huge, and I'll be honored to say I was one of the first few guests.
Well, I greatly appreciate you. And like I said, anything that we can do for you and also with you moving forward with some of the projects that we're working on as well, we would love to collaborate and partner with you on that as well. Other than that, thank you so much for coming on the Major Nation podcast. You have an amazing story, amazing journey that I think so many people are going to be inspired by. And thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Real quick, I wanted to just share the amazing work that the Major Nation podcast is doing. We're already getting so many great testimonials because of the guests that we've had on and the stories that they've shared and their actual testimonies about their success and their journey. And that journey and their successes are helping other people fulfill their missions in life. And that's super important. And that's the point and purpose of the Major Nation podcast. We talk about all things inspirational, aspirational, and motivational. And now we are expanding our reach and saying, hey, if you have a personal brand, if you have a business, if you have a service, and you would like to advertise on the Majoration Podcast, feel free to reach out to us at the Majoration Podcast at gmail.com, or send me a DM or jump in the comments and we will follow back up with you. We have pre-roll, we have post-roll, we have also sponsored advertisements that are available slots for you. And this is the early bird because we're still growing, and let's grow together. So reach out to us now, get your opportunity to be seen by so many people with so many influential speakers on this podcast.